Okay, now let's talk about how to produce a tone on your flute, or the proper way to blow into the flute. Now, I believe one of the easiest ways to learn how to do this is to remove your head joint and practice just on the head joint alone before you connect it to the actual body of the flute. Okay? And so what you do is you take your head joint and you practice blowing into that. Okay, so you practice doing that, and once you get comfortable with blowing into the head joint alone, then you connect it to the flute and try to produce notes with the actual flute itself. Now, the proper way to do your aperture. Now, your aperture, that's how your lips are formed when you're blowing into the tone hole of the flute. Okay, the lip plate of the flute. Now, the way that I do it, I want you to imagine it like your lips are closed. Your lips are very relaxed, okay? Not a lot of tension, almost as if you were inflating your cheeks like this. So it's really loose, really relaxed, but perfect, but it's sealed. With no air can get out, but it's really relaxed though. And what I want you to envision is a little pinhole, and air can come out of that teeny tiny little pinhole in the center of your mouth. It's so small. Just imagine a stick pin, and you stick it right there, and it creates a little bitty hole where the air can slowly come out. But this is relaxed, okay? And your lips are closed, and that little pinhole is there, and you're blowing. Okay, so we're going to take that shape with our mouth, and we're going to find the optimal place to blow into the head joint. And so what I'm going to do is, while I'm playing, I'm going to move this forward and backwards to see where I'm getting the best sound, the most volume. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's about right there. Now notice if I'm too far this way, see, I start losing tone. So if you're not in the best position, you won't get the best tone. So if the lip plate is too forward, you won't get the best tone. If it's too back, you also will not get a good tone. It's about right there. And what I'm doing is I'm actually not blowing directly into the hole. I'm actually blowing right at the edge of where the hole is and the hole. So if you can imagine me hitting my air right at that edge where a little of the air is coming out and a little of the air is going in, where it's doing both at the same time. And so that's kind of where I'm directing my air. But even if you can't really tell exactly where the air is going, listen to it and pay attention to what position is giving you the best sound. And so therefore, once you figure that out, you take the head joint and put it back on the flute. Now this is important because this is going to affect how much you can cradle the flute with your left hand with your first finger. How far you turn your head joint toward or away from you. Okay, so I have to find that sweet spot. Okay, that perfect spot where I'm able to comfortably cradle the flute, but also I'm getting a really good sound when I blow into it. All right, so let's see if I can find that spot where I'm cradling it with this hand, but at the same time, it's in a good place for me to get a good tone. And you don't want to move your head or your body around a lot. You want to try to adjust this, the head joint, to where it's in the ideal spot. So I'm going to move it forward just a little bit and see what we get. Okay, so let me bring it back towards me just a little bit. We'll see, we're experimenting. This is what you have to do to really figure out what works best for you. So I'm going to bring it back just a little. Okay, let's keep adjusting until we find that spot. Okay, it's a little bit better. Keep adjusting. Okay, I think that may be pretty close. And so now let's look at how my hole is in reference or relation to the actual keys. Okay, so my hole is here, but look at where the keys are. Notice that it's not in line perfectly, but this is where I need to be to cradle it, plus get to get a full tone. Okay, and so then I experiment with different notes. Like that. In certain notes that you play, you may want to relax your embouchure a little bit more. What I tend to do, your aperture should I say, what I tend to do is the higher up I go, the more relaxed I am. And the lower that I go, the more firm I am with my aperture. Okay? So as I play up higher, so as the higher that I go up, I try to kind of relax a little bit, almost to the point you almost can do this with your cheeks. Okay, and then as you play down lower, your cheeks are firmer, but you always remain where you have a little small little opening. What you do not want to do is do this. Nothing will come out. You got to make sure that this is small enough. For you to produce the type of tone that you need. Okay?